Hello, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Community Uplift. We hope you and your loved ones have been well, because 2024 has been off to a fast start. It's good to have you with us. I'm Denise Roberts, and as usual, the Super Chapter has been busy. We've got a lot to catch up on today, including one brother who is focusing on forgiveness and its impact on our community. He's stopping by to share his story, and you don't want to miss it. But first, I want to introduce you to the chapter's new leader. It's his first time on the show. Well, as bossless, I should say. We'll sit down with him next on Community Uplift. Welcome back to Community Uplift. So he's here. Gamma Pi's new bossless is a champion of community work, and he's hit the ground running in his new role. Like so many others before him, he's focused on uplifting the village through service. And he's here to tell us all about the Super Chapter's busy few months. Bossless, Brother Eric Fields, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Denise. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, absolutely. So, this is your first year as bossless.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and how has it been in the driver's seat so far?
You know, it's been fantastic so far. I won't say that it's always easy, but it is rewarding. One of the things that I always know is that in every task that we choose to accomplish, the brothers are counting on us. And everything that we do, it is for the betterment of our people.
That's right.
And people in general.
Yeah, that sounds good. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what led you to the role of bossless.
Well, thank you for asking that. I am a alumni of the University of Maryland at College Park. I actually am from Connecticut. I came down here to go to the University of Maryland. And I attended school during the time when Lenny Bias was there. So that's my time period. And that was the time when I joined Omega. When I was an undergrad, I was also a bossless and what we call a KRS, Keeper of Records and Seals, at that level as well. So, but I've been in this county now since the mid-'80s in Prince George's County. I love the county and respect it. I love what we do with Gamma Pi. I've been in leadership with us now for 4 out of the past 5 years.
Awesome.
So I have a vision as to where the chapter should go, and the vision is straight up and to the top.
Oh, wow, wow. Now, I also heard that you were trying to take my job as the host of this show a few times last year. What was it like for you sitting on this side of the table?
Well, Denise, I will tell you that that seat is definitely hot. But I did enjoy it, and I'm hoping that one day, perhaps we can host a show together.
Oh, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about Gamma Pi and its future. What's your focus this year?
Well, you know, Gamma Pi hit the ground running this year. When I first came into the seat, I put in place my first 100 days document and outlined where we're going to take the chapter. Our chapter is a large chapter.
Now, is that standard? I mean, is that something that you kind of implement?
A first 100 days document?
Yeah.
Several chapters do it.
Okay.
It's something that we do in the business world often as well. And so we try to bring a lot of those criteria into what we're doing in the business world.
Okay.
We hit the ground running, outlined what we needed to have done. We have 25 committees, 2 foundations that we work with. We have over 350 brothers in our chapter, so we are a good-sized chapter. When we started this year, one of our first initiatives was something called Project 5000, which is something that this particular district is doing. The district is composed of 5 states. And what they did was we collected eyeglasses, gently used eyeglasses, over 115 pair to be distributed to those that needed them. We collected gently worn shoes to also be distributed to those who needed them in different parts of the country and world. We donated monies to the Maryland Sickle Cell Foundation and help for that cause. And we actually fed over 2,200 families between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So And a lot of that was senior citizens as well, and first responders. So the super chapter is indeed busy, Denise.
So you've kicked off the next 50 years of the chapter.
Yes.
Running like crazy, actually. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we have.
What about your STEM initiative? That's something new. Can you talk about that?
Yes, we're very excited about our STEM initiative, and thank you for asking about that. There's actually something new within our fraternity. And it's only been the second year that it's been implemented now. But Gamma Pi has been really, really fortunate with the resources that we have here in this particular county. We are actually, one of our leading projects is an electric car program that we're involved with at Duval High School, where we're able to help the kids purchase a car, and we're providing additional manpower to them, and they're actually building an electric car, and they're learning about that. So we're really proud to do that. It's right here in our county, and we really appreciate that. Some other things that we're looking at doing, we're getting young children certified in different parts of the computer world, and we're also looking at doing an initiative with AWS, Amazon Web Services. So stand by, and we'll see what happens with that, but we're working diligently on that right now.
Awesome. Oh, wow, that's a lot. That sounds really great. How do you, you said that you work with them to purchase the car, and then they're going to build the car. So are they purchasing a shell of a car, or are they going to transform the car into an electric vehicle?
Excellent point. It's a shell of a car.
Okay.
However, it comes with different components. And this is a program that happens all over the nation and in fact throughout the world. So they've just got to decide how they're going to utilize the components, how they're going to distribute the weight, what level of power they're going to use, how they're going to distance the wheels, things along those lines. So all those come into effect as to the efficiency of an electric vehicle. Because as you know now, we're going electric.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got one, too.
Well, there you go.
Sounds like an amazing program. So what's ahead for Gamma Pi in the coming months and in 2024?
Gamma Pi is continuing to head to the top. My direction is to make us the #1 chapter in this #1 fraternity.
All right.
In this United States, and in fact throughout the world.
Aren't you already the #1 chapter?
Well, I would like to say that, but we'll wait and let the international headquarters deem us that.
Okay.
However, looking at projects that's coming up, one thing we're very busy right now with the St. Jude project, which is, of course, a project which collects funds for childhood cancer. Okay, so we've kicked that off as well. Another program that we're working on is in a few weeks, we're going to be working with the Junior Achievement Finance Park, which is right here in Prince George's County.
Wow.
And I don't know how many people are familiar with that, but it's a program that actually teaches children middle school through high school how to correctly use their funds.
Oh.
They come in, they're given a budget, they have to figure out how to pay for rent, mortgage, gas, insurance, have a little fun in the meantime as well, and things along those lines. So something that's poorly needed and sorely needed, and we look forward to doing it. We'll be doing it in a few weeks with the Ernest Everett Just Middle School.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely a program that is needed. I mean, more than ever.
Yes.
You know, I think when we were, back in the day, parents, or as a parent, I wasn't a parent back in the day, but I'm a parent now, and I know that we didn't have, or maybe our parents didn't know how to teach us how to manage our money, how to save and plan for the future, and things like that. So that sounds like an amazing program.
Yes.
You've got strong ties here in Prince George's County. Really quick, can you just talk about one or two of those?
Well, as a chapter, we're very strong ties in Prince George's County, particularly some of the brothers that we have in our chapter. And we're very fortunate to have some really, really strong men in the chapter. You may know that Rushawn Baker, who's a previous county executive, is a member of our chapter. We're fortunate to have the existing treasurer of the state of Maryland, Brother Derek Davis, in our chapter. And we're very proud to announce that we also have the head football coach at the University of Maryland,
Awesome.
Brother Mike Loxley, is in our chapter.
Okay.
And the good news is that all these others are busy. They're doing the work of Omega.
Yep.
And service is our watchword.
Yes.
And they all know that. And they kick in where appropriate, and I appreciate all of them.
Listen, Eric Fields, thank you so much for being with us today, and we look forward to the work that you're going to be doing and the new heights that you're taking the Super Chapter.
Thank you, Denise. My pleasure.
All right. Next on Community Uplift, what is deep forgiveness? How can understanding it empower our community? Coming up, let's hear from a brother whose mission is to inspire change through the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. His work has inspired change across the country, and he's here to share his story. Next on Community Uplift. Welcome back to Community Uplift. The epidemic of gun violence is tearing our community apart. So many situations where one person wrongs another turns into a sad ending, with one person going to jail and the other losing their life. What if more people practice forgiveness? Our guest today, Darryl Green, has made forgiveness a core value of his existence, and he is committed to sharing it through his program. Darryl, welcome to Community Uplift.
Denise, thank you very much for having me tonight, yourself, and also Gamma Pi. And I'm just grateful to be here tonight, so thank you.
Sure. So why don't you tell me a little bit about who Darryl Green is?
Man, a man who's trying to change the world. A man who's trying to use turn his pain into his passion. A man who wants the world to love a little bit more. If we can love more, imagine what that would be like if we could just love more. We can't kill what we love, right? And so when we talk about gun violence and that sort of stuff that's happening in the city, most of the times we think about revenge and retaliation, because that's what's been taught to us all our lives. And so being able to be able to look through a different set of lenses, not lenses of revenge and retaliation, but lenses of forgiveness. And that's what I chose to do. So, man, I'm a man on a mission, trying to change the world. Okay,
what is it that you do, and how are you defined in 2024?
Let me just say, so I'm a full-time professor at the illustrious National Treasure Morgan State University School of Social Work. But my life's work is it's called Deep Forgiveness. My company is called Deep Forgiveness. It's a 501c3 organization. It was born out of a tragedy. My younger brother was killed 6 days after he turned 17. He went bowling. He checked his shoes. He used their shoes. A 14-year-old kid went behind the counter, took his shoe. Altercation broke out. Management threw the other kid out, allowed my brother to go back to bowl. That 14-year-old kid who took his shoe went home and armed himself. And as my brother went to leave, he waited for him. He stabbed him. He died 4 days later, shock trauma. Wow. I was a junior in college, Denise. I came home with revenge and retaliation. I came home with a 9mm German Luger to kill him, his mother, his father, his sister, his brother, the dog, the goldfish. I was angry, and I wanted revenge. And because that's the word on the street. What you gonna do? How you gonna handle it?
So what got you started on the forgiveness track?
I was tired of being angry, and I asked my higher power, I asked God to take the anger off of me and give me something else. I didn't know what he was gonna give me, but he gave me forgiveness. And so after 2 decades of being angry, I went to court and I testified on the young man's behalf who took my brother's life. And now we work together. So we travel across the country, internationally and globally, spreading the message of healing, reconciliation, and forgiveness. You can forgive just because you can. Is it easy? No. Forgiveness is a process, but you can forgive just because we can. Right now, Denise, we have brothers and sisters not speaking to each other, husbands and wives, fathers and sons, mothers and daughters. And so our whole aim, right, is to kind of be the conduit, right, to help move you from being in bondage, being free. If I can forgive the young man who actually took my brother's life, surely you can forgive your neighbor who parked halfway in your driveway, or your sister who gifted something to you. Yeah, you can forgive just because you can. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your program and how it all works.
Well, right now, again, we're 501c3. We go into organizations, schools, colleges, universities, churches, police departments, helping folks to heal.
Police departments, what does that look like?
Well, one particular, we did a keynote for all the chiefs of police in Ohio to talk about the relationship between the Black and brown community and how do we heal? How do we have those difficult but courageous conversations? And why is my skin color weaponized against me before I open my mouth? So when you look at community violence and all that stuff plays a role. And so being able to have that difficult but courageous conversation with them to say, I don't want any more blood on my hands, and I don't want you to have any more blood on your hands. And so the officers that, and for the most part, we have amazing police officers. You have maybe one or two bad apples who make it bad for the larger piece. And so when you, how do we have those, again, difficult but honest conversations, courageous conversations? And so, again, we go into college and university, Catholic Charities, Blue Cross Blue Shield, where we've been able to, matter of fact, Denise, we just came back from, this time last year, we just came back from speaking to Tel Aviv, Israel, Jerusalem, speaking at the first, speaking at the first international world conference on forgiveness. And so we're just blessed, man, to be able to do the work.
I want to go back to the police, okay, because they are an important factor in this conversation. How was your message received?
Well, it's interesting because what I said to the folks who were planning it, I said I'm coming on two contingencies. One, that work out the details of me coming, and two, that I have safe passage from the Columbus, Ohio Convention Center to the airport and safely on my plane. Where and they were wondering, well, why would I ask for that? And I said, well, some of you aren't going to know, and aren't going to like what I have to say. And right now, hurt people, and we got a lot of folks that's hurting.
So the police are hurt?
In some cases, they may be. Even in Baltimore, we had the Freddie Gray piece, the uprising. Right. There was a lot of officers who understood what was happening. They understood that this is a much bigger part. Okay. Yeah, so hurt people, listen. In any profession, we got folks hurting. Look at my fraternity, right? Look at my fraternity. And when we talk about forgiveness, I will submit to you right now, there are brothers that's in this fraternity that went through a pledge process that may still hold some ill feelings towards one of the brothers who pledged them, right? And so, again, hurt people, and how do you deal with that, right? And by having those difficult but courageous conversations.
Okay, so how does all of that, or situations like that, play into your program?
We help to kind of mediate some of those things, right? Again, healing, reconciliation, forgiveness, and so we share our story, right? And I'm saying if we can do this, then surely. Right now we have one of my close friends, fraternity brother, said he wasn't talking to his mother for about 7-8 years. And I'm saying, are you serious? You're not talking to your mother for what? That's your mom. She should always get grace. Again, hurt people. And I'm saying, do you realize how many people wish they can have one more conversation with their mom? And you got one and you're not talking to her? Right. How many people want to smell her scent, eat a piece of cornbread or something, and you have one and you're not? And so we just really, again, have those difficult but courageous conversations.
So how do people learn about the program and sign up, and what's is there an intake process?
Well, yes. Well, we can all go to the website. It's www.deepforgiveness, D-E-E-P, forgiveness, D-E-E-P, forgiveness, all one word.com. And you can get us directly there. We'll come to your college or university. We'll come to your family reunion. We'll come to your synagogue, just to have those conversations.
Are these group sessions? Are they individuals?
Mainly group sessions, but we also do a lot of individual sessions as well.
Okay.
And that we would arrange that through the website. If you want a half an hour session, a 45-minute session, an hour session, just to really, if you want to talk independently, we'll help coach you through where you are.
Okay.
Yes.
And is your program, I guess, based on Christian principles? Because, you know, that's the crux of, you know,
Yeah. Well,
forgiveness, right?
Well, for me, it is. It's based on those principles, but we're very diverse.
Or at least a higher power is what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're very diverse. We can come into an organization, your company, and we never have to talk about whatever the higher power is, right? Because a lot of times, sometimes, if we talk about that higher power or Christian or this or whatever, then that's when it muddies the water. So in some cases, whatever organization, we'll tailor it for that organization or family. We'll tailor it that way.
Forgiveness can be really tough for some people. How do you get people to apply the principles of deep forgiveness?
Well, let's say forgiveness is very difficult, and I'll be honest with you, some folks may never get to forgiveness, right? But as long as you begin to move towards healing yourself, right?
But can you really heal without forgiving? Because forgiveness is really not about the person who wronged you, right?
Right. It's about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about you. So, I mean, listen, some folks, I would say this to you, some folks, because I forgave the kid who took my brother's life, was responsible for my brother's life, they think that I've dishonored my brother's life. Right? They think I'm dishonored it. And I'm saying, no, if anything, I'm honoring it. And folks all over the world are going to know your name. Right? But forgiveness, again, you may never get to forgiveness. It's like this utopia, the land of happiness per pleasure, where you want no more. However, I ask folks this: when are you going to take your power back? Because until you do, that situation, that person, it owns you, right? And even one of the most hardest things to do is self-forgiveness. Forgiveness of self. Look, I can't go back and change what I did yesterday. I surely can't go back and do what I did 20 years ago, or 30 years, or 40 years ago, right? And what I tell folks all the time, we're better than the worst thing we've ever done.
How tough is this for you? I know it had to be a struggle to get to that point. Do you still have moments where you struggle with it?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, Denise. I'm telling you right now, because sometimes I get wild thoughts. You know, I get wild thoughts, and
that's a song, isn't it?
Yeah, I get wild thoughts. And so, you know, the young man who took my brother's life, we're often together, and he may be driving he may be in the passenger seat. I remember once we were getting ready to go speak at Delaware State University, and the trip was supposed to take an hour and 41 minutes, but it took 3 hours and 40 minutes, and I just looked at him, and I got this wild thought, like, I could do something to you.
Did he know?
Oh yeah, he knows. Yeah, but that's the running, the running. I won't say joke, but it's the running piece between him and I. He was like, yo, you know, if something happened to me, you're gonna be suspect. You're gonna be suspect number one. So when we drove to Delaware, we took 95. We came back. We took the country roads, the back roads. He was like, hey man, where are we? We didn't come this way, but it's a very difficult. Every time I tell the story, it's emotional, right? Every time I'm in this space, it's emotional. And so, and then me traveling across the country and around the world, helping others to heal, folks who give you all this stuff, right? And then you have to go home, and before you go in the house, you gotta leave it in the car, you gotta leave it whatever. So yes, the work is difficult, but that's where self-care comes in. And we do a lot of that.
How is your forgiving of this man impacted your family life?
I will say in the beginning, not everybody had the same thoughts that I had, which I wanted to forgive him. And then I wanted him and I to work together. And not everybody had that same mindset, right? And some folks still don't. But here's the hit, I got my blessings from my parents. And once I got the blessings from them, then it was time to do the work. I can't stay stuck.
Okay.
And a lot of times, that's what happens. Something will happen with us. You got divorced. You're not married anymore. There's a problem. It's been 10 years ago, but you're still bitter. You wonder why you're sick. You wonder why your hair falling out. You wonder why all these things. It's because you're holding on to that stuff.
Is that the story in your book?
Yes. Well, thank you for this. This is Deep Forgiveness, and it's 33 stories 32 stories of folks of individuals and families that we help heal all across the country and some parts of the world. And so,
is your story in there?
It is. It's the very first story,
Okay.
and the name of the story is Murder in the First Degree.
Wow.
That's the name of the story.
Okay.
But we have so many other. It's short stories.
Yeah.
There's a African quote, then there's a note page, and another story, and that's the way the book is lined up. So it's just short stories helping, hopefully helping other folks to listen. The light of the tunnel may not be the same light that I have at the end of the tunnel, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And so we just try to be a beacon for them to see it, and just to hold on. A lot of times we're dealing with folks who, we work with the Campaign for the Fair Census of Youth. A lot of times we're dealing with folks who, they want me to work with folks, but it's too fresh. You want me to talk about forgiveness, their loved one was just murdered last week. Or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're not ready.
Yeah.
And so what I will say is forgiveness is a process, but it's contagious too. And you can forgive just because you can. And that's why I say take your power back.
Yeah.
Because until that situation owns you, it owns you. And forgiveness, as you said, Denise, earlier, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you.
It's for you.
Yeah.
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 So we're just trying to change the world, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's an awesome story.
Well, I greatly appreciate it. Listen.
Where can they find information on your book? Same website?
The same website, www.deepforgiveness.com. They can email us directly at info at deepforgiveness.com.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that forgiveness can have an impact on slowing or even ending the crisis today?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm 1,000% sure that if we looked at through those lenses and not lenses of revenge and retaliation, and we looked at it from a forgiveness perspective, or the other piece that we talked about earlier, if we can love more, right? If we can love more, Brother Bruce Purnell out of D.C., Love More Movement.
Darryl Green.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for telling this story.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so super excited of Gamma Pi inviting me. Shout out to all the members, men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We are putting in the work. We are about service, and we're changing the world.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you again for your service to our community. We need more people like you to bring about the change through innovative means. Thank you for being dedicated to this work.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. As you can see, it's been a busy start to the year for the Super Chapter. Things won't be slowing down anytime soon, and Gamma Pi looks forward to seeing you around the community. You can recap this episode at gammapi.org. You can also connect with us on X at GammaPiQ, and also on Facebook and YouTube at Gamma Pi Chapter. From all of us here at Community Uplift, thank you for tuning in. I'm Denise Roberts, and we'll see you next time. Take care.